I took a piece of plastic clay and idly fashioned it one day, and as my fingers pressed it still, it moved and yielded to my will. I came again when days were past. The bit of clay was hard at last. The form I gave it, still it bore, but I could change it nevermore. Four institutions operated by the state of Kansas serve her mentally retarded citizens. This is the story of the work of the chaplains at one of these institutions, Parsons State Hospital and Training Center. 650 children and young adults live here in these buildings. Each office, classroom, cottage, warehouse, or workshop is a place of learning, of growing and maturing. The Protestant chaplain at the hospital and training center, Jack Smith.
I want to show you a small part of our institution and the people we serve. I feel very fortunate here because our basic purpose is to help our retarded youngsters grow and develop into well-rounded individuals. For some, this growth will manifest itself in the ability to adapt to the demands of society. They will return to the Kansas communities from whence they came. For others, whose potential is low or who cannot adjust to society and return to community life, a training program is offered that will help them grow into adulthood with whatever talents they may have developed, so they will not have to be completely dependent on someone for their every need. Our staff and various kinds of treatment activities are careful to see that each child and young adult gets a carefully chosen and well-balanced treatment and training program that will in time result in an individual, though still mentally retarded, who has more of an understanding of the world in which he lives. He will have more information and skill, which will allow him to live in reasonable happiness and success. This is his adaptive behavior. I can see many people who are actively engaged in helping handicapped individuals find these new skills and make good use of the talents they possess. By talents, we are referring, for instance, with our trainable children, to being able to tie one's shoelace and not necessarily performing a saxophone solo. Psychiatric aides assist other treatment specialists by working with each boy, girl daily, in the patient's own particular area of need. Such activity, much like doing one's homework, helps to round out a day of study, work, and relaxation. Recreational therapists interact with youngsters in a way which is therapeutic and meaningful. Although it's my responsibility to guide and nourish the spiritual needs of our children, I feel that I am but one of many others performing a ministry of service to them. You know, many people say, "You're never in your office." And they're right, at least partially. For I feel that my place is with the children and young adults as much as possible. The pastoral ministry in an institution for the mentally retarded does not differ very much from the ministry to a local congregation in the community. We converse informally on the way to school, or some special activity, or on the playground. We share comments about the activities of the week, the planned visit home, a new dress, or perhaps a letter from home. Often the informal conversations will lead to more formal talks in my office or more regular counseling sessions each week. What are some of the problems that concern our patients? Concerns that they have are the concerns that many people have, although they may be more intensely felt and expressed more simply than we would express them. Problems of getting along with one's neighbor, loss of friendship, broken homes, future plans for a job and security. All these constitute a portion of the struggles of our children and young adults. Some are more specially related to the retarded. How does one shop in a store when you can't read the labels on the merchandise? How does one find the proper class to attend in the church school on Sunday morning? How does one participate in a church service when reading the words to the hymns and the order of worship is impossible? What does one do with leisure time when the day's work is completed and the activities are not planned by some recreational specialist? The planning and treatment goals for the patient's adaptation to community living are developed by our hospital staff in a team interdisciplinary approach. This includes an initial staff conference on each patient admitted to our institution. These meetings include the clinical director, the physician, representatives of social service, psychology, special education, occupational therapy, music therapy, recreation therapy, speech and hearing, psychiatric nurse, psychiatric aide, and the chaplain. From his own perspective, the staff member shares his observations of the patient, and the clinical director designs a program from this consultation with the specialist. Each staff member then tries to be consistent in the training and/or treatment of each particular patient. The entire treatment, training, and research at Parsons State Hospital and Training Center is under the direction and supervision of Dr. Howard V. Baer, Superintendent and Medical Director. These treatment goals are reviewed by each department periodically, and the children and young adults are reviewed in team meetings. In addition to routine chaplaincy duties, I serve as the chairman of one of these divisions in our institution. Each week we meet to discuss the specific problems and successes of our children. Thus, the treatment and training program searches for the needs of each child and seeks to meet these needs with a consistent and disciplined approach. Our religious education program is one of these important areas of the child's program. My assistant teaches these weekday classes. To the retarded, all of life is a mystery. Even the small everyday things that we take for granted are mysterious and somewhat threatening to them. The first trip to town may be a very terrifying experience unless they are prepared for this. Our purpose is to assist the other treatment specialists in our center in this preparation for life. We want our patients to move insofar as they are able to a more meaningful Christian faith. That will give them strength and support in their lives. Our classroom experiences seek to help each child and young adult find his own special God-given abilities and capabilities, no matter how small. We want them to understand and feel as we do that because we do not understand everything there is to know about life, we are not helpless, hopeless, and alone. God is in his world, And we're all ultimately dependent on him whether we can read or not. One might say that in an interdenominational way, we are seeking to show how Jesus' life and teachings point us to a more complete picture of life at its fullest and happiest level. We use few words and many actions and activities in our classroom. Even in the ministry of our Lord, the relationship was most important. The individual came before all else. So we strive for a relationship across the puzzle, a cup of tea, a good record, a Bible story, a moment of prayer. This is a special kind of class. These young adults have been attending church services in our local churches. Our local churches and their leaders have been most helpful and receptive of our young people who have earned the privilege of attending downtown services. In this class, we are discussing the previous visits downtown on Sunday morning. Each person is able to go to the church of his choice. This display is an effort to show the location and Sunday schedules of all the community churches. This is one of the first steps that our older and more capable young people make into the community. Some have been working in business establishments in town. Others have shopped in the stores with nurses or aides or vocational counselors. As a worker, consumer, parishioner, we begin to sense the meaning of community living. Each Saturday, Catholic instruction is offered. A local priest is our part-time Catholic chaplain. Four times each Sunday, our young people enter this building for one of the worship services. The first begins at 7 o'clock. It's our Roman Catholic Mass. The first Protestant service begins at 8:30. Our music therapy staff provides an organist and pianist for the services. During the course of the year, our staff develops many varied special programs for our children. Each Christmas, we try to have a special program retelling the story of Jesus' birth. Our audiovisual department helped us record a dramatic presentation of Van Dyck's The Other Wise Man, to which we invited our parents and the public. Summer finds us moving to the out of doors, and it's no exception at our institution. Our entire staff combined efforts with the local recreation staff to provide a summer day camp experience for our community youngsters and our children at the training center. All of us enjoyed the time we spent together, and counselors and children alike thought it a very valuable experience. Participating in Boy Scout camp was a new experience for the boys and certainly for their chaplain. It's a credit to the boys and their scoutmasters that they won first and second place in patrol competition on this particular week. There are other aspects to the responsibilities of a chaplain which are most important. Our long-range goals for service to Kansas retarded depends upon our research and training program. This program is aimed at professionals who will work with retarded people throughout Kansas. This professional training program, headed by Dr. Henry Leland, and the research activities directed by Dr. Joseph Spradlin, benefit members of the clergy who come to participate in lectures, workshops, discussions centered around the work with the retarded. In cottages and testing rooms, this activity continues in an effort to train professionals and to seek answers to the mysteries that face us in our work with the retarded. The psychiatric nurses and the psychiatric aides are constantly seeking to improve their services to our patients, utilizing the knowledge which the researchers have discovered. One local minister is presently engaged in an analysis of tests which were developed for the purposes of measuring the biblical knowledge of the retardates and their concepts of God. Other teaching materials have come as a result of clergy spending summers or weekdays working in the institution. Workshops for visiting ministerial groups are arranged for the discussion of mental retardation, the institution itself, or the general area of pastoral care. This particular group of ministers is discussing the pastoral care of patients admitted to the local general hospital. This training period is a necessary part of the association's Chaplain of the Week program. Our staff feels that we serve our patients best when we help train the clergy, the physician, the nurse, the psychologist, the teacher, and all concerned professionals, so that they too may find the reward of bringing physical well-being, vocational skill, spiritual comfort and happiness to these, our citizens of special need.
I took a piece of living clay and gently formed it day by day, and molded it with power and art, a young child's soft and yielding heart. I came again when years were gone. It was a man I looked upon. He still the early impress wore, and I could change it nevermore.